I think every MP, including the Prime Minister, should support the local West Midlands Police, the Safety Advisory Group of experts, independent, impartial. They've made a decision, and that decision must be supported. We as MPs and parliamentarians, elected representatives, should not engage in operational matters.
You mentioned that the Prime Minister should support the police, but the Prime Minister, the Leader of the Opposition, people from across the political spectrum are publicly against this decision, and now the government say they're working at pace to try and find a way to overturn this.
Well, and once again, my point is that that was an operational decision made by experts. I don't think that politicians should get involved in matters that are outside of our expertise. The fact that the Prime Minister has labelled this decision as anti-Semitic is disingenuous. It's disingenuous on the great West Midlands police force we have here, and those individuals that participated in that objective analysis of intelligence and information that they must have collected over the last few months, and made a finding that this was a match that they could not police to ensure the safety of not just residents, local businesses, private hire drivers, but also fans coming into the town.
Some people would say, well, you know, we've had plenty of second city derbies here where it has got violent at times between Aston Villa and Birmingham City fans, but those matches have still been given a safety certificate to go ahead, even though there would naturally be concerns around violence. So why is it any different for these fans?
So you have to look at what took place in Amsterdam, where you have got football fans vis-a-vis other football fans of different teams. I think it's slightly different. We've seen Maccabi Tel Aviv fans attack properties. We've seen them attack residents of Amsterdam. We've seen them tear down flags. This was a night before the match was played. The chanting, the racist chanting, death to all Arabs. There are no schools left in Gaza because there are no children left in Gaza. Everybody witnessed those harrowing chants. And then we saw the violence that then emanated from that. And I don't think as a city, as a town, we want to see that repeated.
You obviously mentioned your concerns. You said in your statement your concerns around the fears of fans, of players, of staff, of local residents. But the Jewish Village Supporters Club have come out and said, and I'll quote, that the club have been forced by the local authorities to, in their words, salute modern-day Nazis.
Well, I mean, it's utter nonsense to conflate the two matters. And, we have a very diverse community here in Birmingham. But I see a lot of conflation stemming right from the top, from the Prime Minister all the way down to organisations. This is not about faith. It's about a fan base that have displayed violence, not just in Amsterdam. They've displayed violence when they are playing teams within Israel. So let's put context and proper context that this is all about protecting and ensuring that there's safety. West Midlands Police and the Safety Advisory Group have made a decision. We should respect that decision. We should support it.
People online have criticised you in your statement yesterday, calling you an anti-Semitic.
Well, you see, once again, it's an echo chamber, really, isn't it? Anyone that stands for principles, is consistent. If I've supported the fact that Russian teams were being banned because of the atrocities that are being committed in Ukraine, I've held and maintained the same consistency when it comes to Israeli football teams. We've had more than 800 athletes murdered in Gaza, 350 of them footballers, and a very prominent footballer, 41-year-old Mr. Salmani, who was killed whilst waiting for food. Eric Cantona asking for the boycott of Israeli football teams. So there is a moral argument, and people will dilute that word. It means very little when all you've done is stood up for principle and have been labelled something which you're not. I'm not a racist.
So is this more about the situation that's been happening in Gaza, and is this more about that situation rather than the fact that this is about football?
No, I've made my position clear. As I say, there are two distinct arguments. One is about safety. We've got confirmation from the Safety Advisory Group, the West Midlands Police. They've made that position very clear. I support that position. The second is a moral argument, and my moral argument is based on consistency. It's based on the fact that we've seen a genocide which has been confirmed by the United Nations Commission of Inquiry. So I'm very consistent in my approach. I see that other parliamentarians are not.
Can Birmingham host future international big sporting events? We know that there are plans for this to be one of the host cities in Euro 2028 and the Women's World Cup in 2035. If the police say that they can't protect a certain demographic group of supporters coming over here, how can this city host big future international sporting events?
Well, ultimately, every assessment is no doubt done on a case-by-case strategy. They've made this decision. I suspect it's, and I'm pretty certain it wasn't a light decision, but it's been made in relation to this fan base coming into Aston, coming into Birmingham, and I support my West Midlands police. I support my local independent experts that have made that decision. The Prime Minister and others don't.
And just finally, I'll put to you the comments from the leader of the opposition on Birmingham City Council, who questioned what this says to Jewish residents.
Well, look, this and Kemi Badenoch is the worst when it comes to driving false narratives. I mean, she referred to me as sectarian. She knows nothing about Aston. She knows nothing about Prairie Bar constituency. She knows nothing about the people that I serve and the diverse community that I serve. So I take what she says with a very small pinch of salt. It's nothing to do with faith, but everything to do with safety, everything to do with morals.
Here in Westminster, it's clear that the government, or Sir Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, is pursuing an all-government effort to get these Tel Aviv Maccabi fans to this game in Villa Park in Birmingham next month. He's now ordered 3 cabinet ministers to find a way to get the Tel Aviv fans there. Steve Reid, she's the community secretary. He's speaking to the leader of the local council. Lisa Nandy, the cultural secretary in charge of sport in this country. She's talking to officials to see what can be done. And the Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, is working with ways to support the police and the Policing Crime Commissioner, who's ordered a review of this choice already over this. Now, the language from the Number 10 spokesman just now in the briefing is dramatic for our Prime Minister. We are told the PM has been angered by this decision. We are told that he thinks we shouldn't have a country where we tell people to stay away from certain events. He calls football a unifying force in this country for decades. We will not tolerate anti-Semitism on the streets. This is wrong, Number 10 says. We are working a way to find through it. It's not right that we're telling people to stay away. I can tell you that there's no comment on whether Prince William, who's probably the most famous Aston Villa fan in the world, has been approached or talked about this. The spokesman says we never comment on the royals. The PM has been fully involved in all of this. He's been coordinating the calls with ministers and trying to get these fans to this game. But there'll be further updates later today. So it's quite clear this has really angered the Prime Minister. Of course, yesterday he spent much of the day with Jewish faith groups, including discussing more support, more money to keep our Jewish community safe in this country. And then for him to have this news at the end of the day about these fans from Tel Aviv not being able to go to watch a game in Birmingham is clearly crossed a big line for the Prime Minister. So he's fully involved.